If you guys are listening in, Paul has not stopped talking to people because he's super famous.
What?
It's good to be your assistant here today, Paul. Dude's like a water.
We have the CEO of Auman Landscape LLC here. What's up, Brittany?
Hello, how are you?
Good. What have you learned from building a shop so far?
Oh, a lot. Patience is the number one thing that I've learned, and you can never go back and build a bigger building. So we went as big as we possibly could.
What's one piece of practical advice you'd have for someone just starting in the landscaping industry?
Learn as much as you can. All of life is about being patient, right? So it's patient with building the building, patient with growing your business, and learn as much as you can. Don't try to grow too fast, and I think that's the rules to success, right? Financials, know your numbers.
Yeah. You work with your husband. You guys are together basically 24/7. How do you guys get along and build a successful marriage and business?
A lot of grace and compromise. It's important that, we both make decisions, we make them together, and sometimes we have to make them on our own. And I can't put the wrong decision is made, then that's still both of our decisions. I can't say, hey, that was bad. You can't be critical of them because the business is so stressful. I'm glad I get to do it with my best friend, and we've just learned a lot along the way.
Cool. Thank you, Brittany.
Nice.
You recently passed your business on to your son. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I had a major heart attack in 2020, and he took over after that year. As a matter of fact, my heart attack was 2 years ago today. Quadruple bypass and the whole deal.
I'm glad you're feeling better. What's it been like taking the helm of the business?
Been good, been busy. That's pretty much it.
What have you learned so far from all this responsibility?
Time management, really, but that's about it. Just hard work. I'm not good at these interviews. So.
Okay. What's one piece of advice that you give to someone just starting out in this industry?
Number one, just be dependable, do good quality work, and that's pretty much. If you show up every week and do good work, you're going to continue to grow.
Glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Let's go!
Blake, what would you share to somebody who's just starting out in business?
Take care of your customers, go above and beyond. Everybody talks about don't do something that you're not getting paid for. Well, in the beginning of the business, I don't agree with that. I think that you should go above and beyond for people. For Susie, I always say, because Susie will share your name with her friends, with the neighbors. That's where my business has always, even to this day, where my website does really well, Susie's that are spreading my name are still number one. Because it's instant. If their friend tells you, hey, B&B, you don't have to prove yourself to them. And consistency, anything in life, just be consistent and it'll pay off.
Take care, Sweet Sue. We have SB Mowing in the house.
What's up? What's up, Paul? It's nice seeing you. This is the first time I've seen this whole day.
Yeah, we have a TikTok star here, man. I go through TikTok and it's 217,000 likes, man.
No. I just passed 1 million followers.
Yeah. Congratulations, man. Phil's Lawn Care was looking for you. Did you see him yet?
I've seen him earlier today, but I haven't seen him for a while, so. You got a whole line waiting for you.
How's the Equip Expo been? Last year you were 2-3 months into being a content creator. You've blown up since then. What's it been like coming back to Equip now, being SB Mowing?
It's been cool. I kind of know what I'm looking for now. I'm not just kind of scattered around. I know a lot more people now, which is really cool. So I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces, which is awesome. And get to go try out new equipment. And I know what I want, I know what I like, and just get to try all the new stuff, especially the battery-powered stuff.
What was it like to give $10,000 to that guy? I was scrolling through TikTok. I'm like, man, 10K.
Yeah, so we, for anyone that doesn't know the story, I went and I did this yard for this veteran, and he was disabled, and he ended up not even having his utilities on. So I got on my social media platforms, and we raised $10,000 for him in 2 days. I went back and gave it to him in cash, and best day ever for him, for me. It was awesome. It was cool.
Yeah, he gave him $5K, and then he's like, I got 5 more thousand.
Yeah, I counted out the first 5,000, and then he was all freaking out, and I told him I had a little bit of a lie, and I pulled out the other 5,000 and gave it to him.
And then he's like, I got to go to the bank. And then did you guys actually take him to the bank, or?
No, he had his niece come pick him up to bring him to the bank real quick, and it made local news and everything. It was cool.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah.
What's it like to have 1 million TikTok followers?
It's weird. I still can't really comprehend the numbers sometimes, but it's cool. Yeah.
Your wife's not a gold digger, though. You guys got married before.
No, we started dating about 6 years ago, so she's no gold digger. No, yeah, we got married about 3 months ago. Been dating for about 6 years, so yeah.
What's one piece of practical advice you give to somebody who's trying to make more content online?
Don't be afraid to do it. It's always hard getting out there and making your first video, and like when you put it out there and you see that like, oh, 3 people saw it, who cares? Just get out there, and as long as you're making good videos, people are gonna watch it.
Keith Kalfas, what's one piece of practical advice you give to someone just starting in business?
Bro, go find people, if you can't in person, but maybe on social media, and cut out all the noise of all this crazy stuff, Elon Musk and all this, like, and just find somebody who is where you want to be at the next step and follow their coattails. And then maybe if you get to the point where you've made it there, find someone else. But if you try to go like way too big too soon and you're into all this ethereal stuff, just take the logical next step.
Keith, can you share some tips with us on pricing? I hear you share a lot on knowing your worth, but how do you establish your prices to get paid what you're worth?
Yeah, it's like one thing my buddy Dave, who helped me get started, told me, well, I just got out there and I charged what I made per hour as a job, and then I kept charging more and more and more until customers were saying no. And then I did the math, and I got to the point where about half the customers were saying no and half of them were saying yes, and I said, I guess that's what I'm worth. It's like that's the first step, and then the next step is actually diving in, finding really successful service business owners who track the analytics in their business. They have profit and loss statements. They actually know where every dollar is going in and out. You start to figure out a man-hour rate. And you have to get some cold hard experience and track how long things actually take. You're going to eat a lot of crow in the beginning, but over time, it's like on a gradient, you're going to eventually figure it out. So you have to be creative and go out there and hustle, but you also have to take time to sit down and know the numbers. And if you suck at it, find someone who can help you quick.
That's so bad, dude. Well said, Keith. Follow him on the interwebs. Keith Kalfas.
Keith Kalfas, now Untrapped Podcast. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. Gershon, what's one piece of practical advice you've learned in building your business?
It's not to get too big too fast. I mean, you can watch all these YouTube things, and that'll get you to where you're spending more money than you really have. And that's one thing I learned from your books and your experience too that you had, is just being humble with everything, And I've kind of had my growing experiences too, like buying a truck that I was going to use for the business and then can't find employees. So I'm pretty much a solo operator. So that's why I'm just back to back down to just, running everything pretty much by myself. So, and I'm more profitable that way too. So
I'm going to ask you one more question because that's really good. What's been the benefit of being a solopreneur and just kind of running your own business?
Well, then I don't have to worry about employees. I mean, I can set my own schedule, go at my own pace. That way, if I need to spend a little bit more time, I do a lot more stuff for elderly people, so they want to talk. So I try to plug in a little bit of time to be able to talk to them, and that makes a difference. I mean, if they're having a bad day, I can stop and talk to them, and they'll be smiling by the time I leave. So that makes me feel better too. And it's turned into, when I started this business, it was to make a little bit extra money, but it's also a ministry for me too. So that's pretty neat, being able to do that. So my preacher tells me, like, if you're not here on Wednesday night, I know where you're at. So that's worked out pretty good too.
Cool. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
What's one piece of practical advice you share to someone who's just starting in the lawn care business?
Oh boy, Paul, you put me on the spot here. I would say focus on an area you want to service and advertise, do whatever you can to get customers in that one area, because if you can only work in that one area, oh dude, the amount of money that you're going to make is tremendous. You're saving all that windshield drive time, crazy. Just keep the equipment rolling. That'd be probably up there on the list as far as what I would say.
Cool. One more question. We have Caleb here from Pennsylvania. You're an avid attendee of the Equip Expo. What keeps you coming back every year?
The people, just like Paul. I got to come say, hey, this honestly pumps me up so much. it helps me get through the next year and to the next Equip Expo, because you can be out there working and it's just you, and there's no other people, social media people in your area, and so this motivates me so much to keep going and keep crushing it all the way till next October and come right back here and do this all over again.
Cool. They could turn that into a commercial, man. Good job. What's one piece of practical advice you share to someone who's just starting in a lawn care business?
Get a mentor, someone that's been there, older, wiser, and that's just been there, because you need a mentor to help grow. Someone hopefully in your city, but somewhere that, at least you can get regular, constant communication with. So, yeah.
Spot on. Nice to meet you, Eric.
Absolutely.
Great advice. Caleb Auman's been building an awesome shop in beautiful Fairfield County, Ohio. What have you learned from this crazy process so far?
One of the big things is a lot of planning, making sure we're planning. I just can't say plan enough, budget properly, because with material costs constantly going up, if you know the building's not going to get built for a while, still build in a fudge factor of inflation of things still going up another 8 or 10% next year at least. So just budgeting and lots of planning and a lot of patience. That's the big one there.
Caleb, you've been doing this for a couple decades. What's one piece of practical advice to guys just starting in the landscaping industry?
Being as I crashed my first company, not paying attention to my numbers, it's the cliche go-to answer for everybody, but you got to know if you're making money. You got to know you're recovering your costs. You have to know that what you're doing is worth the time you're putting into it to make the money you deserve to make for how hard you're working and the risk you assume. That's it, man. That's a big deal. That's number one.
Cool. I asked this to your wife, but I want to hear your perspective. How do you guys get along being around each other in business all day and then, raising the kids and being basically around each other 24/7?
It can be real challenging on days when it's good, it's okay, and on days when it's bad, it's freaking terrible. It's just one of those things, like it's her and I's connection, building a company together and then building a family together, and I don't know. I think it's almost kind of weird, I guess, to the level we can do it and not kill each other, but just being patient and learning to listen. And just like Britt says a lot, having grace and just understanding maybe you heard the person wrong or maybe misunderstood and we need to reevaluate, reapproach. And then trying to take time to each other outside of work is like a big part of it. So it's a lot of things coming together to make it work.
Cool. That's Caleb Auman, Auman Landscape LLC.
What's up? Thanks, folks.
What have you learned from the Equip this year so far?
What I've learned, this is a great marketing place. You need to come here and you need to come out of your comfort zone. Push it and actually shake hands, get to meet people. Incredible people, incredible business advice.
What's a piece of practical advice you give to someone just starting out in the lawn care landscaping industry?
You have to humble yourself and come out of your comfort zone. You definitely have to shake hands and get to meet people and let them know you're a person just like they are. They have needs and you have needs. And get to know them. One-on-one basis, and you'll have a customer for life.
Well said. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Paul. Thank you so much.
What is your favorite memory on the Green Industry podcast?
A lot of them just like hanging, like you when you were like younger, and then there were a bunch of times like just the funny stories he tells. It's really funny, and it just like I'm on my lawnmower and I'm just like laughing my face off, and it's really fun.
Yeah, you like those Jobber 90 commercials, huh?
Yeah.
Cool, man.
You had some really good podcasts lately, and last year I just about quit the business. I was almost out of it. My partner died. I think I talked to you that on a coaching call, but 3 days after he quit last year, he passed away, had a massive stroke and died. And I'm like, man, I think I'm going to get out of the business. I said, I can't take this, all this pressure and stuff like that. It was one of your episodes that I listened to, and it was from an older episode you had coming out of Minnesota that I listened to. That's it. We're going to go until she strips and then back her off when we're going full tilt. And thank you for doing that. It was your episode, and then it was Brian's episode just lately that got me to LAL.
What's it been like to see your son grow his lawn care business?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, he started out when he was 13. Really, he started when he was 7, got his first paying job mowing grass. So, I mean, it's been great. And then it's fun coming to seeing guys like you and Brian and finding out there's other guys like him out there doing the same work, trying to make it work. And it's wonderful.
Did you say hi to Brian yet?
Yep, I'm going to say hi to him, man. Good seeing you.
Yeah, good seeing you again. What's one piece of practical advice you'd share with someone just starting their business?
I would say that it's good to focus on route density to start. That really helped me because I kept my route really tight. I didn't have to travel too far, so all my guys and everything is really nice and close. I think that's pretty good advice because when you start branching out, you start increasing labor costs, trip times, everything just starts increasing. When you keep it nice and close, it really keeps everything under cost and it's really good to start out with.
What's it like having a lawn care business in Stark County? Is it Summit County?
Stark County. It's interesting. We got snow. We can lay mulch. We can mow. We can do it all. So,
what's one piece of practical advice you give to someone who's starting in the lawn care business?
just to be friendly with your customers. You're there to solve their problems. So be open to new ideas and just listening to them, but sticking to your numbers and knowing your worth.
Well said. Nice to meet you in person.
Nice to meet you.
What's a piece of practical advice for someone starting in the landscaping industry?
Get educated, find a mentor that's done it before, and ask a lot of questions.
Get yourself involved with a group like PGMS?
Yeah, Professional Grounds Management Society.
What's one thing you've learned in building your lawn care business?
Don't lower your numbers down for your customers. Keep them up high so that you don't lose any money and profit. That's really what it is. It truly is. I mean, they want to try and bring you down, but you can't do that because you ain't gonna make no money, no profit. So you got to keep and hold it, and they'll trust you afterwards. If not, they'll find somebody cheaper and they'll regret it. So that's all I got.